I'm Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger. And you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is made in collaboration with the Jewish Journal. Porn. It's one of those things we just don't like to talk about. But by all estimates, at the very least, half of us watch it on a regular basis. For the most part, when it comes to porn, we're happy to consume, but we wouldn't want anything to do with it. Think about it. How would you react if you found out that a family member or a friend, or anybody you knew for that matter, was working in porn? We're not here to pass judgment, of course, but you can't deny the cognitive dissonance we all have with this. Now, being a non-straight kid in Israel during the 1980s was no walk in the park. Jonathan Agassi, then Jonathan Langer, from the small city of Holon, suffered throughout his childhood from bullying, from rejection, and even from sexual abuse. But Jonathan made it through the rough years, and eventually he would grow up to become the most well-known Israeli gay porn star. But, as is usually the case, his trauma didn't stay behind. Tomer Heyman's documentary Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life chronicles Jonathan's story and is premiering next month in Austin, Texas. So, without further ado, the one, the only, Jonathan Agassi, thank you so much for joining us.
Just one correction. He was an international star.
He was international star, but he was probably he wasn't the most well-known international.
He was one of the most well-known international stars.
The Israeli always came first. It always came the Israeli.
But you were like one of the biggest stars, period, right? From what the movie says.
I think, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I was. I worked for the biggest company in the world. You know, I worked for Lucas Entertainment, and in general, yeah, in the definition of it, yeah, I was pretty successful for 5 years. So normally the career of someone who does so many movies in such a short time, I was successful. I was pretty
definitely the most well-known Israeli.
Yeah, I'm trying to be modest. Come on.
So, okay. So
Eitan is pretty nervous. I don't think he ever sat next to someone whose penis he saw. Right?
I've been in the army, man.
All right.
Okay, so let's start with what it's like. I guess
I'm blushing a bit.
The most blatant question. Don't worry. One of the most obvious question. What is it like being a porn star? If you had to describe it.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I always say that was the best time of my life. I mean, it was the most memorable period of my life. It was the most beautiful time of my life. I mean, I will always cherish those years, you know. I mean, it was amazing. It was
really, because in the film you get the idea that it's like it's a time full of struggle, and I mean, you see you going through a lot of troubles.
Unfortunately, no. First of all, the first 4 or 5 years, I think, of my career was pretty much all good. There was nothing bad came with it. It was all success. I was traveling around the world. I was making a lot of money. I was, I came from Holon, just like a suburb in near Tel Aviv, that I never saw the world before. So everything was perfect. But when I saw too much of the world, too much of the extreme world, then things started to drop down, to fall down.
So like with fame came all this.
I think so. I don't blame porn for. I don't wanna, give spoilers, but I never blamed porn for getting me to the place that I got into. I never blamed porn for that. Porn for me was just amazing. I mean, it was. It was a dream that I was living the dream.
How so?
For me. Well,
you can say anything on the podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
No censorship.
Yeah, we'll
first
just
of all,
bleep it all out.
First of all, I think the main thing is that I really saw the world very, very fast. It happened like, I think after 2 months that we did Men of Israel. So 2 months after, I already been in Paris, in Italy, in I don't even remember even. I mean, it was so fast.
What's Men of Israel? It's like a
Men of Israel was my debut
appearance.
was my debut appearance. Yeah.
That's where Lucas Entertainment.
Yeah, that was the first. It was a huge project. Mikey Lucas came to Israel and he was seeking for only Israeli men.
Who is Mikey Lucas? For those who don't know,
I don't think I need to say that. Mikey Lucas is one of the biggest producers of gay porn, I think, in the world. He's definitely
the George Lucas.
Uh,
Maybe they're related.
I don't think so. If they are related, so I'm related to Andre Agassi, and let's say
Okay.
we just changed the name.
Or to Shai Agassi.
Yeah. No, but well, Mikey Lucas is obviously one of the biggest producers. He has the Lucas Entertainment that is, it is, and it never. I mean, it is the biggest, one of the biggest mainstream porn companies in the world. And he's a Jewish man, and he wanted to do a film only with Israeli men, and it was really huge in Israel. Everybody talked about it because he posted like everywhere, in every dating website and everywhere he could. Do you want to be a porn star?
And what year is this?
I think
It was like the 90s?
2000. No, I'm not that old. I was born in the 80s, but no. It took a little bit of
Like mid
2005.
2000s?
2005.
Okay.
I think it was 2005 or 2005 or no, I think 2008 for sure.
2008.
2008.
So this is over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And was Tel Aviv wasn't yet kind of the big gay city that it is today. I mean, it was probably getting started, but it wasn't quite.
It was at the beginning.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I mean, I think since 99, I think it was 99 when Dana won the Eurovision. I think since then we already started to grow and grow. But I think there was a gay community. I know that I remember at that year that there was a gay pride. I shot my first film ever in May. It was in May. I will never forget it. It was in May. And then in June, there was the gay pride. Oh. And it was huge. It was a huge gay pride. And I remember that everybody already knew me. And everybody like came from abroad. And I think we were quite big that time. Of course, today we are.
Yeah.
We can rule the world now, the Tel Aviv gay community.
Yeah.
But
it's a very nice discussion, but can we go back to porn, please? Because he shot porn movies, and there are so many questions. First of all, today you hear about people saying it's immoral to watch porn. And many people think and think and say that, and especially about women involved in porn, they say they're taking advantage of them, but you describe it as fun. So first of all, was fun also making everything is fun, because you said traveling was fun, but making it was fun. Is it moral, you think?
Moral? Yeah, I don't see anything unmoral about it. I mean, I never did it because I was forced to do it.
You think that applies for women?
There is. I've never done straight porn. I don't.
But don't you know?
I know a few porn stars, female porn stars, and they looked quite happy to me. I don't know. I mean, but again, I mean, there is the mainstream, yeah, and there is the
right
non-mainstream.
Right.
There is the small companies. Also in gay porn, I was obligated. You say?
Yes.
I was obligated not to do drugs, not to drink alcohol. It was in my contract.
Mm-hmm.
I lost porn. I always say that I lost my career because I fell into drugs.
Uh-huh.
So let's say that in mainstream companies, you have rules.
Mm-hmm.
I've never worked with any of the non-mainstream companies, but I'm guessing and I believe that in small companies that how do you say it, like in
like indie companies, like
independent.
Independent. I guess over there it's a bit different, and maybe they give you a little bit of juice to make it
more
more free.
But you don't see anything. There's nothing in your view. There's nothing exploitative. There's nothing where they're taking advantage of the people, even if it's not coercive. Meaning, even if they're not forcing you.
Yeah. 50-50. You know, I mean, I know for sure. I mean, even I had one bad experience in porn, but again, I came all drugged up. So
What was it?
my last shooting for Lucas Entertainment. I mean, I came all fucked up. I was drugged. I was high, and I wasn't supposed to be high. And I think I don't know. I don't want to say that the production took advantage of that. That I was really in the mood, you know. So it was the first time that I experienced with double penetration. Terrible. It was the first time.
You don't recommend it.
No.
I feel like this is the point in our episodes where we'd usually say for our listeners who don't know, but we're gonna refrain from defining what that
they
is.
know. They know.
Yeah, but no, but seriously, I mean, that was the scene that I think that I went too far, and this is the only time that I can say that maybe something that wasn't completely. I wasn't not like.
Yeah,
in
aware.
a state of mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware exactly, you know. And but again, I came not aware as well.
Right.
Yeah, so I cannot blame it on the production, and I cannot blame it. That's why I never do that. So
How do they how do they handle STDs in porn?
well, you have to do regular checkups.
What, it's once a week, once a month?
No, it's not. You don't shoot once. You don't shoot porn every week. I mean, I didn't shoot porn every week. But the
Really,
test,
you don't shoot that often?
No. I used to shoot once a month, something
okay.
like that. But in period of a week, you shoot a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say once a month you do a test. And
Like you have to do it before every shoot?
yeah.
Or,
You always have to come with the papers. You always have to come with and whatever you are. I mean, if you're positive, if you're negative. That's who they are combining you with.
So if
did I say it right?
Yeah, so if there is an
combine-
HIV positive, they don't rule him out. They just give him another HIV positive to film
Of
with.
course.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's crazy.
I mean,
Wait, now I have to ask a question now. Did you think that everybody is HIV positive, or did you think that
No,
everybody
but
is
no, I thought everybody was clean.
really?
What?
Yeah.
No,
So-
I thought that if you're positive, they don't let you shoot.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's funny because I imagine an Israeli production, right? Because here the productions are so messy. So I can see like an Israeli porn production where someone comes, oh, I got mixed up with the.
Yeah, but don't
no,
forget-
Yossi, you can't. You.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
don't forget.
dangerous.
First of all the production in Israel are normally safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Until someone
I think-
misplaces
no,
a file.
I have to put the thing of the tests in the right timeline.
Okay.
Because when I used to do safe porn, I never asked to do tests. Never. When I started to do, I only did three films without a condom, and these are the ones that I had to come with a test.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So when you do, okay, so first
When
of
you
all,
do
you have
safe,
to
you do
define these
safe.
terminologies because safe porn is where you wear condoms.
Yeah, of course.
And you're saying when you do safe porn, there's no tests.
No. Normally, when you do safe porn,
Yeah, it
I
makes
never had-
sense.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
No.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Why? If you're
'cause it's
using
still
com-
like it's not 100%, right?
Nah, that's getting into the
Too
Like
deep.
small.
thin corners. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I know
I mean,
that
I
when
don't
I started to do when bareback porn started to appear.
What's
and
bareback porn?
Without condoms.
Without a
Okay,
condom.
okay.
No, come on. When bareback porn
catching
started to appear and started to rule over the industry,
Uh-huh.
then tests was it was a must. You have to do tests before that. And I know of a few. I remember that we had a big production. I think in Ibiza or something like that, and it was a film with a story. So it was like in advance, everybody knew that they had a character and a character,
Yeah.
and everything. And there was one guy who caught something, not HIV, something else,
Right.
and he was out of the production.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to find a new guy, and it was complicated.
Right.
But
Yeah, because now, I mean, today mainstream porn, straight and gay, is mostly bareback.
without
there's
condoms,
no-
of
okay.
course.
But I have to ask. So if you describe it as so positive, I mean, you did fall into drugs, and then maybe that's what led you out. But I have to ask, what led you out of porn? Like, if it was so good, why not continue? Even if you if you got over the
For all
drugs,
I
why not go
care,
back?
For all I care, in those days, I would have continued porn. I wanted to continue porn. When I came all drugged and fucked up for my last production, I didn't think that they would fire me. I wanted to continue. I still had a contract for 1 more year. I had a contract for 6 years. I left after 5. I mean, I had to leave after 5.
Yeah.
But I mean,
No, but I'm saying today you're not doing it. I mean, maybe we should fill in because we had this conversation before.
Today I'm not doing it because, first of all, I mean, I'm not there anymore. I'm not there physically. I'm not that obsessed about working on my body, and and like fulfilling what the audience wants to see.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not there anymore.
Satisfying them.
Meaning it's totally a sort of practical decision. It's not
Yeah,
really, there's
yeah.
nothing in it that said porn was bad for me and I'm leaving. It was just,
No,
I'm
no.
not, that's not
I
not
never
something
left.
that interests me.
I never left porn because it was bad for me. I always say that I was forced to leave porn, and after that, I think I had another 3 years that I was kind of like struggling to stay. I was using the name that I had was pretty strong. I mean, it was I was fierce.
Yeah.
So I used to do a lot of sex shows. I used to go and travel like all over the world just for sex show. One time someone flew me.
Yeah, flew
Flew
you
you
out.
out.
Flew me out to Thailand just for one night for a show. I mean, imagine. So I was hanging on to that.
Okay.
But once that started to drop out and so many new porn stars started to appear, and I was no longer in gym, I was already skinny because I was addicted. I didn't leave the drugs. I left the porn industry, but I still kept doing drugs for a few more years. And when I realized that I kind of felt pathetic
Mm-hmm.
at some point.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute. What led you to do drugs? What led
An
you
escort.
to the addiction?
Um,
Did that come before?
I think that
I don't know.
drugs came before. I think no, drugs was always around. I mean, when I'm sorry for all the gay community if I'm saying things that, but I think if you're a gay man and you're into parties and you're into like sex all the time and stuff, so you're using drugs here and there. Normal people has jobs, normal day jobs from 9 to 5 that has to wake up in the morning, so they are more responsible not to have a night full of drugs or night full of sex or night full of that. I didn't have this, how do you say?
framework. Yeah, structure.
Framework, yes, exactly.
He was more right.
That's what he said. I didn't have that. I mean, my life was completely free. I could have done whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. I earned a lot of money because I was an exclusive model. I worked only for one company. So let's say whatever one model does in a month, I used to do in one photo shoot. So, and on top of that, I also started to do escorting.
Mm-hmm.
And in escorting, I earned a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I never had to work. I mean, I could have taken a week off and like just getting high.
Did you have any thoughts before jumping from porn to escorting?
Yeah.
You thought about
yeah.
it?
It took about, let's say, I think almost 2 years before I started escorting.
What was the turning point?
I moved to Berlin. And the offers, I mean, I had a Gay Romeo account, regular account.
What's
not
Gay
not
Romeo?
It's a dating application, and it was. I had like an. Imagine yourself that you see your favorite porn star on Art of Dating. Imagine yourself that you see him
Tinder.
or Tinder or Grindr or whatever. Tinder is straight.
Is
Well,
what?
there's not gay guys on Tinder.
I don't know. There is
Grinder.
Grinder.
Yeah, but for the
Grindr.
straight guys, imagine you see your favorite star in Tinder. on
Imagine
Tinder.
that. So I was kind of naive because I opened a very regular profile with all my beautiful pictures and everything, and all my Jonathan Agassi down, on the bottom and everything. And there was not even one offer for free. There was not even one guy that sent me a message, hey, what's up? Do you want to meet up? No, it was always, hey, how much? Hey, what do you offer? Hey, can I offer you something? Hey, it was always like that.
So it's like the community was split in two. It was the payers and the payees.
Yes.
Basically, if you looked above average, you got paid, and if you looked below average, you were
but
paid.
he was famous. He was famous. So
I
they
was
assumed-
famous. I was very, very
okay.
famous.
They
assumed
And
it's-
especially in Berlin.
But were there other famous people on?
No, that's what I started with. I was naive. I opened. It's like Julia Roberts will now appears in Tinder.
Ah, okay.
Not Julia Roberts. I'm a bit.
I don't know
Let's
if
say
I'd
Cardi
offer
B.
Emma Stone.
Let's say Cardi B. Let's say you now see a famous person in your regular dating profile.
Yeah, I guess they would. They'd get
You
a lot
know?
of offers to
Yeah,
be
it's not
paid.
about not average, however that you look.
No, but
It
I'm
was-
saying, were you the only one on Gay Romeo getting offers to be paid, or is that the norm there that people are just paying?
I don't know.
Or is
I know
gay-
that I got offers.
Ah, okay.
I don't know about other
Okay,
guys.
okay.
I mean, I know that I had. Well, that's a different conversation. But
Okay.
I know about myself that everybody who approached me, with money,
Yeah.
and then I kind of get the sense. First of all, hot guys, like really hot guys. I mean, I remember my first one in Berlin. I think I met him maybe 200 times after that, and I think maybe 100 times was already without money. I mean, he was that hot, I mean, so it was tempting,
Mm-hmm.
So I started that. So here I got like 150 euros, and then another one, and then it got to 200 euros, and then I said, okay, I'm already an escort. I'm opening an escort profile. So I opened an escort profile.
And they have that. You mean
Yeah.
escort pro? They have that on Gay
They
Romeo.
have a section for
escort.
escorts. Yeah.
So what's the most you ever made on a night?
In euros or in
In
shekels?
euros,
euros.
shekels, in money.
in euros, I made 5,000 euros for 1 hour from an Arab prince, I call it. Yeah, and
Wait, was he actually
Mahmoud
an
bin
Arab
Salman?
prince?
what?
Was he? Was he actually an Arab prince, or was he
I
just?
don't know. I cannot talk too much.
You can't say. Okay. I mean, there's a bunch of
that-
Arab princes. It's not like we could guess which one. Okay.
That
Okay.
and
So 5,000 euros. Wow, that's a lot of
for
money.
1 hour, and I never saw
If
the.
you never
prob-
need a.
I never
If you're
saw
ever
the
late on rent.
I never saw the 500 before.
The euro,
when I met him,
yeah.
so it was only
5,000.
500.
The 500.
The,
Okay.
the 500 bill,
Right,
the
right,
purple
right.
one, it was only. Come on, it was only 500 bills, so it was new for me, and I remember I spent it so fast.
Ah, yeah.
Oh my god!
Well,
I bought
when
a
you
new
know you can
iPhone.
make it that easy, it makes it
It's
less.
very tempting.
Yeah.
And I never had, except of one time, it was more a problem of attitude. It was never someone that was, ooh, I can't touch this. I mean, I think most of my clients, even if they were not like beauty queens with
8-pack.
8-pack and stuff like that, I mean, I never had someone that I said, oh my god, I can't believe I done it. Oh my, I mean, so it was always nice. It was always.
Yeah.
But the freedom that came with that, the free time, there are lots of money and everything. And let's say, the first time that you do drugs, I mean, it was easy drugs. It wasn't, I didn't start immediately with the rough stuff,
Uh-huh.
Um,
So I mean, you started off easy, but eventually you got to a place where you were doing hard drugs. What drugs were those?
I used to, I was an addict for 3.5 if we're talking numbers, 3.5 years crystal meth, and 5 years GHB.
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 What is it?
This is actually, I think it called in the world the drug rape. G.
The rape. The roofie.
No, roofie is I think it's the extra. Wow, you are innocent, boys. Really too good.
No,
Too nice
roofies is a date rape drug.
Yeah, roofie is the.
Yeah, it's what you
date
slip in the drink.
It's the drops?
Yeah, it's roofie.
yeah. Okay. So
I don't know if it's the drops, but it's when a girl leaves a drink.
It's drops.
This is like
It's drops.
and the guy,
so-
like drops something in the drink in order to.
Yeah.
It comes in the
that's
form of
called-
drops. Yeah.
It comes
If
in
you
the form
want,
of
yeah.
drops.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll skip the joke.
I was
Not
gonna
funny.
ask. Do you know from? Yeah, but that's okay. So you were doing GHB. I mean, but it
GHB
basically makes you pass out. No.
Well, when you do it too much and when you mix it with alcohol, yeah. But when you do it in supervision, kinda,
Okay.
you can go on for days on it, and no one will know that you're high. No one can understand. No one can know. No one, and it leaves you just like in a balanced kind of state of mood, but very horny.
Yeah.
Another drug you talk about in the documentary, and we should talk about the documentary also.
Yeah.
But you, I never heard about it. But you or someone mentions that porn stars use they inject
It's not a drug.
something
It's not a drug. It's a medicine. It's a
Nah.
medicine.
that
It's
you
something
with
inject
N?
to the
What is it
penis.
called?
Yeah. It's a medicine. It's a medicine for impotent people. It's called-
Viagra doesn't do it
It's
for
like
them.
yeah.
It's more than
It's more than it's like Viagra in injection, but it's much more strong and it keeps you hard for like 3 or 4 hours, something like that. But it's completely a medicine. You only get it if you have
Prescription. Yeah.
this
But-
word, yeah.
But obviously you get it. Like porn stars get it from.
Of course. But most companies
every-
get it. Most companies get it with license. I mean, you don't have. You're not like a criminal if you have it.
And there's a doctor injecting it.
No.
You inject it to yourself.
You learn how to do it slowly. Either, I mean, I love to do
Sometimes
it.
you probably played a doctor though.
I played the doctor. I used to be the one who played the doctor many times. Yeah,
You were saying you loved using
I
it.
loved using it. I mean, I
Why?
loved using it. At some point when I was in my rough time of addiction, I mean, I couldn't get it hard no matter what. So I used to use it every day. So
Does it harm? Does it do damage in the long run? Or?
so far, no.
Okay.
So far, I'm okay.
So
it's
I
creepy.
have to ask again. I hate to. I mean, we're joking and we're laughing and it's great, but watching the movie,
Yeah.
and talking to you and
Yeah.
learning about the fact
The
that
movie
you
is
fell
the
into
documentary,
the
not-
documentary, Jonathan. Well, which is pretty. We should preface this. We should give a disclaimer. It's pretty graphic. So if you're gonna watch it, know that you're basically watching a lot of gay
Yeah.
porn.
Lots of schmucks.
Lots
yeah.
of penises.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
but watching the documentary, Jonathan Agassi saved my
I'm
life.
having so
By the
much
way,
fun.
again, we are too. Watching the documentary and hearing from you about the drug addiction and seeing kind of the trauma that you went through in life, it's hard for me to separate that. And it surprises me. I wanted to say back when we were talking that you say that, porn was this great time in my life. I can understand that, you look back on a time that's wrought with trauma and say, I had good times and it was enjoyable and I was happy.
It was a cover up. It was
But what I'm trying to ask is, it's hard for me to separate all that from being in porn. And I wonder because it feels to me like they're somehow tied.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
But you don't see that. You don't, or you don't feel that way.
I was waiting for you to tell me that I don't see it.
No, I
I'll
meant
tell
like
you what.
you don't see it that way.
I'm with you.
I'm not saying you're
I'm
wrong.
with you in that direction because, Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life, the film, came out about 9 months ago, almost 10 months ago. In that period of time, I met thousands, if not 10,000s of people. And I came at the beginning with one thought that I had fun. I had that. I fell into drugs. That happened, blah, blah, blah. I never combined it with my childhood trauma or with my sexual trauma or with my today, if we're really talking about it, I do make the connection. I understand that there is some connection, psychological connection with my sexual abuse and my
The career path.
everything has connection to each other. I wanted to prove myself and I wanted to be the best, and Tomer always says that
Tomer is the director of the
Tomer
movie.
Heyman, of course, is the director of the film. He was with me for 10 years. We were shooting it for like about 10 years. You know, he was with me from the beginning until the rough end. So he always says that I always wanted to be, I have the biggest dick, I have the biggest that, I can do that, I can do that, I can rule the world. I did it like in 2 months. Everybody in the world knows who I am, blah, 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 you know? And I never thought, and he never knew. I mean, it all happened like spontaneously, you know, that suddenly I was high and I'm telling him about, you know, when I was young. So, don't ask, my father did that and that and that. And don't ask. Also in school, I had this and that and that. You know, I mean, I had my traumas. And then a smart people, a sober person, can understand the connection. For me, it took some time to understand the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess what I would ask is, what advice would you give to someone who right now is, let's say, 18, 19, 20,
Yeah.
and is considering going into porn? What would you say to them?
Go for it. I mean,
Really?
Of course, go for it. I mean, listen, I
They're
have.
full of contradictions.
I'm full. Life is full of contradictions. You know. I mean, this is life. I mean, I will not say to someone that say, I really want to be a porn star. But also, I will not ask him, tell me something. Did you have a sexual abuse when you were young? Did you have like any abuse when you were young? I won't ask that. But I think if someone really, this is his desire. I was born and raised in this way. If you have desire, accomplished it. How do you say it?
You have a desire, go for it.
You have a
Fulfill it.
desire,
Fulfill it.
fulfill it. Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. You have a desire, fulfill it. No matter if it will be for this way or this way, if it's good or if it's bad, do it. I mean, you have to do something. You feel that you have to do it. Do it. I never suffered in porn. I mean, no, not never. One time I did, but the time that I told you about. But again, I could have controlled it if I was sober. You know, I mean, all my experiences in porn were amazing. I mean, I always came back so happy. Woohoo! I did these amazing shoots and everything. I have friends that holding a very great career for over 10 years because they are not doing drugs. Some of them doing escort, some of them not. I have one that is married and they're in.
You mean friends who are still in porn?
Yeah, of course. So it's not something that I can say, ooh, it was so bad for me, don't do it, don't you dare doing it. I cannot say it. It will be a lie. It will be like hypocrite for me to say just because that now there is a film about me, about my real life and everything. It would be hypocrite to say, no, don't go doing porn. Don't go.
What if it
do
was your
porn.
kid?
Oh, come on.
No, I'm wondering. I'm just.
That's oh wow. Yeah. You made me
Finally, he's speechless.
you made me speechless. I think if it was my kid and he was, I started when I was 24, you know what I mean? So if it was my kid and he would be 24 years old, I would tell him, if you feel that you want to try it and you feel that you need it for yourself, do it. But just know that I'm always here to support you and I'm always there to, to have you. I'm always here having your back. But not before he's 24.
Which leads us to the movie.
Yeah.
And your mother is in the movie.
Yeah.
She is such an inspiring
And
woman.
first of all, her agreeing to be in the movie is not obvious at all. But
I have to tell you that none of us knew what this movie is going to be
Yeah.
about.
Right.
And,
That's how documentaries are.
That's the best ones.
We were looking for. I think you can see it at the beginning that the whole beginning is so, wow,
Yeah, the first scene I think I think it is by far the most. What's the adjective here? Gripping scene
It's
in
just like
in
you watch
document
it,
you've ever
you
seen in a
can't-
documentary.
you're like-
I've
you-
never.
yeah.
It's a thing you see it and you're like, the best screenwriter could have never written.
Which one?
The one where you're,
The first
where you're
scene.
shooting yourself on a phone.
No,
No, I think.
no, the one when you're in the club and the guy tells you.
This one.
It's
No,
the
because
first
we were
scene.
talking about my mom. That's. I thought that you don't remember the first scene.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying this first scene
Yeah.
of the movie
Yeah.
The very first scene
That's,
is to
In the
me
club,
the most.
and the guy tells what?
I think I can describe it.
I
right?
can tell you. I mean,
Yes.
we are like all ready to perform.
Yeah.
Both of us.
It's a club. It's a gay club.
It's a gay club in Tel Aviv.
By perform, you mean?
A sex show.
A sex show. We
Yeah.
are right like 2 minutes before a sex show, and I'm meeting a guy that I had a scene with him before in the past. We did a film, a porn film together, and he came to Israel especially for the show, and we are sitting down like next to each other, both hard-ons with hard-ons. And I'm just asking him, hey, how's life, And he's telling me my sister just died.
And you're giving him a hand job.
And I'm like,
As you're speaking.
no, I'm
You
giving
are.
No,
You're
no,
you're-
no,
No, he's giving.
no,
he
no, no, no,
wasn't.
no. I was joking myself. I was
Yourself, okay.
I was
But, yeah.
playing with myself, and he was playing with himself. But
As you converse.
while we are having this conversation.
So
and
he's
then
telling
That's
you.
not the first
he's telling
scene.
me
It is.
this is the
No,
first
the
scene.
first scene of the movie is you on your cell phone taking a selfie video saying, "Hi guys,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
Yonatan
true.
Agassi,"
He's right.
and I thought that was the scene that you're describing is also insane,
Yeah.
but the selfie video is also amazing.
Don't remember.
Yeah.
it just grabs
this
you.
Actually, he's right. This is the first scene.
Okay.
The second.
Then there's
scene-
the credits, and
Yeah.
then there's the
Yeah.
but
He's kind of right. He's
okay,
kind of
okay.
right.
But
But this one.
but the one when I saw that
Yeah.
scene, I was like,
But this is it. I mean,
I didn't catch that though. His
Wh-
sister
when-
had just died.
His sister just
I didn't-
died.
I didn't catch
they're
that.
conversing,
A few months earlier, his sister got cancer and died.
and Jonathan tells him, "Oh my God, I'm so
oh my god!
sorry, man."
And I'm like that. Oh my god! I'm like doing it.
People don't.
I'm so sorry. And I'm like I'm rubbing his knee,
And
like rubbing his
with one
knee,
hand?
like
I didn't.
in
Yeah,
the-
I remember being shocked by the
and-
scene because it's very graphic. But
and your dick is
Yeah.
in your hand.
And
As
my
you're
dick is in my
consoling
hand.
him.
But then don't forget that 1 minute after that, he said, "Okay, go on stage," and we're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But
So-
it's like you're going
so
to
that-
walk and
you
like,
see this and you're like, no screenwriter
yeah,
no,
will ever
no.
some life provides you with things.
I think by the way, half our listeners just closed the podcast because I mean, no offense, but like I think the movie and this,
I
even
think-
this right now
I
is too
think the other
graphic
half.
for.
I think the other half just turned the volume on even more.
I
you know,
don't want to
so-
think about what the other half is doing right now.
But you know what I'll say to those who like this is life.
This is life. Yeah.
And if you like, it relates. To, me and Eitan were having a conversation yesterday. He was like telling me because there was the massacre in New Zealand, and he was saying to me, "Have you watched?" Because he documented as he slayed. He slayed
Yeah.
50
Yeah, I know,
people, and he filmed all that. And Eitan told me, "Did you watch it?" And I was like, "No. Why would I watch this? Why would I do it to myself?" And Eitan was like, "It's important to watch it to know the world in which you live." So
I
it's
agree
not
with
far.
Ethan about that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I kind of wish that you wouldn't
No,
connect the two.
connect the two. but
it's
but
too
of
yeah, not to
course,
compare.
Definitely, you know, not everything in life is what like the normal person who works from 9 to 10 and goes to work and works in an office or work in a clothes shop or in a clothing shop or anything. There is other jobs, and you know what? The porn that we talked about at the beginning, that not half of us, a bit more than half of us watch, and a bit more than half of us use. It's made by people. And people has lives, you know. I mean, so it's not like all porn stars, you know, doesn't have a life, and it's most likely that some of them lost a sister, some of them lost a brother, some of them lost it, and we were in a job meeting, you know, me and him, the guy that in the first scene, we were in a job meeting. I just met him before a show, and we got into that, you know, about his sister and everything, and you learn how to put the
Barrier.
Exactly.
It blew my mind. Really,
Yeah.
that scene
Yeah.
blew my mind. I've never seen, and and I've seen Louis Theroux documentaries, all of them.
Yeah.
But I've never seen.
No, it was incredible.
And yeah, you went.
But yeah, we got a bit off track. I wanted to ask about your mother because she is, for our listeners, you should definitely go see the movie. Watch it whenever it's available. We'll talk about that a bit at the end. But your mother is so inspiring because you can see that she's conflicted, because I think as we described and as you even kind of showed when we asked you the question, it's hard to accept the fact that a family member is involved in this industry.
Yeah.
And then, with the escorting and the drugs, it becomes even more difficult, but never once. Like it's like she doesn't even blink an eyelash. Like it's
At
so
least
clear to
on
her.
camera.
Yeah, I mean, to me, on camera, it's so clear that her love is so unconditional. Like, it's the definition of unconditional love. And it's beautiful to me. And I wonder, like, what was that relationship like? Did she approve? What was off camera? Was it more complicated?
Sorry. I have to say that, first of all, at the beginning, we started filming a bit when there was already acceptance of the path that I chose. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Off camera, we never had a different discussion. It was not like on camera, we were like, oh, okay, baby, I love you, blah, 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 blah. And then off camera, oh, why did you do it? It was, now today, I realize and I understand that she had, I think you said it, that she was struggling with herself. And now I understand it, and I'm sure that she had some times that I can't imagine. I can't imagine the feelings that she had and how strong she had to be to support me no matter what. Mm-hmm. But she did supported me no matter what, and I am so lucky and so grateful for that. And
it has to be noted also that you it comes across in the movie that you played a really big role in her.
Of course.
Your father left at a very young age.
Yeah.
And she was alone, and it seems
Relied
like
on
you
you.
kind of play the supportive role.
With me and my mom, it was always like a give and take relationship in a very well, I started working when I was 15. I always worked. I always had a job, and I was always a big spender. So let's say when I used to work in a big fashion shop, in Castro at that time, and so I always used to spoil. I always used to spoil her with clothes and shoes and stuff and things like that. It wasn't like money.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like from the beginning I used to give money. At the beginning, I became. I was pretty good in makeup, in hair and makeup styling.
Mm-hmm.
Then I used to make a little bit more money. So then I used to help a bit more at home. I used to. I don't like the word support because it's support. To me, it's always like a reminder of
Escorting.
Mm-hmm. So I don't like to use the word support. But I used to definitely help around home.
Mm-hmm.
And if there were bills to pay, I used to pay them or help to pay them. And if there was any special needs, I used to help with that. I don't see it as something unregular. I think that this is supposed to be in every family like that. Once you make money, and if anybody from your family, it doesn't have to be your mom, it can be your brother, it can be your grandmother, it can be anyone.
Mm-hmm.
If help is needed and you can provide it, so you provide it. When I became this giant porn star,
Mm-hmm.
and I made giant fuckloads of money,
Makes
spend
sense.
it to spend it all on myself. I mean,
It would be selfish.
I could have buy 3 houses in Tel Aviv, but you know, I mean,
You should have.
no, I shouldn't. I
No?
shouldn't. I shouldn't. And I thank God that I didn't. To be honest, really, I thank
Okay.
God that I didn't. At that time, my sister got in the army. I mean, no one could help at home. So from far away, I used to send money. I mean, it doesn't matter where this money came from. It's help. I mean, once your family needs help, it doesn't matter where. You know, there is families that rob people to help their families. And the family doesn't know it, where the money comes from. So everything was out in the open, and everybody knew that I'm an escort, and I'm you know what? Let's talk in everybody's language. I was a prostitute, and I was a porn star. So this money was not respectable.
It was dirty money.
It's dirty money. That's what everybody say or think, but it's.
I wonder if you felt like you were kind of, I don't know how to put this, but I'm just going to say it. Like you were kind of dying for everybody's sins in a way. Like you were playing the role of Jesus. Like you were, you know, suffering in order to provide for.
I never felt like I'm suffering. So it's not something like that.
Okay.
And exactly the opposite. I always felt like, I have too much. Who do I give it to? You know,
Okay.
so I gave it to my mom. My mom gave me my life, you know,
Yeah.
so I gave it to my mom. Take, please. I mean, live well, you know. I mean, in every visit that I had, we used to go shopping and everything. You know, I mean, when you take the camera off,
Yeah.
imagine that you take the camera off and you see a man, like I was already like 25, 26, 27, and I'm taking my mom to the mall and I'm buying her clothes and I'm buying her shoes. A lot of shoes, a lot of clothes, you know, I'm not one bag. We're going out with a lot of bags. I mean, would it be like weird or like you're playing Jesus because you did that? I mean, I don't know. I don't see it in that way.
Yeah.
I think this is only me. I think you always need to spoil especially your mom or
Absolutely.
stuff
But
like
the
that.
circumstances. That's
Yeah.
the
The
thing.
circumstances,
The
exactly.
circumstances.
The fact that it came from prostitution, I never call it prostitution. I always call it escort. I don't think escort and prostitution is the same. I don't know. Everybody always like mad at me because I'm saying that like that. But
No, I think that you can definitely draw a distinction. I don't know what the value of that distinction is, or how much of a difference it makes in
Yeah.
certain people's views. But you can definitely draw the distinction in the sense that in escorting you can be picky, whereas with
this is what I wanted
prostitution
to
you're
say.
kind of just
It's over here, like you pick your clients, you know
Yeah.
who's coming to you and everything is it's not like I said it in the film and it's very true, you know. I mean, it's not like I'm walking down the streets and somebody, hey, for 100,
Yeah.
you know, let's go for it.
But yet, I mean, you know, I don't know if to me that doesn't come as kind of like a legitimate. I think
Profession, I know.
Yeah, but I'm wondering because you still you did come out of it. You did stop. You
Yeah.
told us before we started recording that you stopped.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the escorting industry? And do you feel like it's a good thing that you pulled away?
I think it's a good thing that I pulled away. I think, well, you said before that I'm very, what's the word?
Full of contradictions.
Full of
yeah,
contradiction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the film, because of this thing, Jonathan Agassi saved my life. A lot of young escorts and prostitutions and prostitute, trans and stuff like that approaching me and asking me questions and stuff like that. And I say, really honestly, go get a job. You know, go get a job. It's better. I mean, it's for the long run. We talked about long run. For the long run, it's better to go get a job because it's very easy to go to escorting or to prostitution or to anything. It's easy money. It's also very easy to go and be a drug dealer. And it's very easy to go and rob people. And it's always, you know, there is a lot of things. Um, I was very strong in my insights to deal with clients, to deal with this whole easy money and everything. I was very strong because I wanted it. A lot of people do it because they need it. And there is a
From
very
weakness.
big difference between wanting it and doing it because you want to do it and do it because you need to do it. Because when you need to do it and when you need the money,
You'll make
and
compromises.
if someone will come and tell you, no, I want to do to you something now that you don't like normally. So you will say, and I'm willing to pay you 1,000 shekels more. So you will probably go and do it. And you will suffer for 3 days after, and you will suffer for 5 days after, and you will be depressed. And you know, this was my first escorting experience was like that. I needed money. I was here in Israel. It was long before I was this giant porn star, and I earned 14,000 shekels in a full night. And it was terrible. He made me do things that by now, I mean, I did some things in my life. I never done those things. I mean, and this experience I remember really, really strong because it was really bad, you know? So I imagine that if anybody needs money right now and somebody like this client that I had at those days will come to him, oh, he will take it. But he will never think that this will be the experience that he will remember his whole life.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the most memorable experiences that I had in my life. This one.
see.
So
The one that I
movie-
did for money, yeah.
Yeah.
The movie is premiering.
Yeah.
You remember the
If I remember that you're talking about the movie, yeah.
No,
no, the
date.
date
Yeah.
and the location.
No, actually I don't.
Okay, but there is a Facebook page.
Yeah.
It's called Jonathan Agassi Saved My Life.
Yes.
We'll put links.
We'll put links, and there
Yes,
you,
please.
and you're on social media,
I am.
Instagram, Jonathan Agassi.
Jonathan Agassi forever.
Forever.
Four with four with
Yeah.
the digit, not with the.
Okay, and did the movie change your life?
Definitely. It got me in a whole different perspective of how I saw things and how I felt about things and how basically I remember that like one strong we have time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically one I can hear everything.
I hear my burps like
Yeah.
boiling
I'm
up.
holding it inside. One very strong experience that I remember, really strong, very, very vividly, from the shooting with Tomer, with Tomer, is on New Year's Eve, 5 years ago, about 5 years ago. It was New Year's Eve. He has a German boyfriend, so he was also in Munich or something like that. I don't know, somewhere. I was living in Berlin, and he was over there, and I'm telling him, listen, you have to come to this club. I'm performing tonight. You have to come. Wow, it's gonna be amazing. And I brought him to this club that I think it's in the movie. When you see everything is like with mold and smelly, and you feel like you're in a huge toilet filled with shit. You know, I mean, nothing else. Today I see it. But I remember I described it to him like so amazing. You're gonna see something, wow, all the porn stars, everything, sex live shows and live sex shows and everything you can imagine. Everything is there. You have to come. And I destroyed his New Year's Eve and his Christmas. And he came over and he's been with me and I was all fucked up. And when I see the movie, when I see the scene, he was filming me when I was like going down the stairs. I can only feel a sense of mold.
Yeah, the scent.
The scent of mold in my nose every time that I watch this scene. Every time, because you know your mind reminds you what really was there, you know, and
It's a surreal experience.
it's a perspective. It's a perspective because I used to see it in like, ooh, this is so amazing. And I remember he didn't talk to me after that for 2 months. He wasn't willing to talk to me. You destroy my holiday, I came here for family, And I said, what? Come on, look, it was amazing. And now
You
I
were
see it.
you were seeing everything through
I s-
rose-colored
I
glasses.
saw everything with like pink sunglasses. Everything was pink. Ooh, everything is great. So the film did change. I think it did change my life. I haven't touched a drug for almost 1 year. Almost nothing. I mean, I had one fallout, which I'm not proud of, but.
I think it's amazing. It's inspiring to me. I mean,
It wasn't easy for you to watch the movie.
it
let's be
wasn't
honest.
easy. Of course, it wasn't easy to watch the
Yeah,
movie.
I
Not
know.
only because of the porn, but
It's
because
not easy for me to watch the movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not only because of the porn, but because of the traumas that you went through and the struggles with drugs and everything. But I think it's inspiring because it's a story of redemption. It's a story of someone coming out of a bad place and making amends and learning to improve their life.
But you don't see it in the film. That's
You
the
don't
thing.
see it, but you get a hint at the end, and I'm hoping that our listeners.
We won't give spoilers, but
Yeah.
this is my favorite.
Yeah,
scene.
I think you get that's why I was happy that we brought you, because I was really curious to see what happens after that, and I hope our listeners get
There's a
to
good
know.
ending.
Yeah, there's a good ending, and our listeners get
A
even
happy ending,
more information that
Sorry.
everything is continuing to. Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Is continuing to improve, and I think it's inspiring. And anyway, thank you
very much.
for being on.
Before we go,
you.
for the one listener who stayed, we're collaborating with the Jewish Journal. They're at jewishjournal.com.
You guys didn't see that one coming.
And they offer articles about Israel, podcasts like the David Suisse podcast, and you should check them out at jewishjournal.com. And we accept donations.
Yep, we do this on our free time, guys. So if you guys want to throw a few schmeckles, not schmucks, not schmeckles, shekels our way, then 2njb.com/donate.
And yes, you want to add something?
No, I just want to
Okay.
say thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much
much.
for coming.
It was
And
a
watch
very
the
interesting
movie.
conversation. Yes, and please watch the
Americans
movie.
should watch the movie.
I think that Americans and Europeans and everybody should watch this film, because I think this film touches in a lot of spaces that everybody knows. You don't have to be a porn star to know drugs, and you don't have to be a porn star to be in prostitution, and you don't have to be a porn star to to experience those kind of experience that I had in my life. I mean, I've only grown
Mm-hmm.
from that. So if that can be an inspiration for anybody, I mean, I did my thing with this film.
So the film is going to screen in America, guys. So go
Yeah.
to the Facebook page and get some updates about that. Thank you so much, Jonathan,
Thank
for
you very
coming.
much.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Jonathan Agassi saved my life. Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye, guys.